Welcome to this week's Geek History Book, where we get to talk about all sorts of fun things that have happened in the world of geekdom throughout history.
Yes.
And this is something that we've been having a lot of fun with.
Yes. Because there's a lot of facts we didn't know about. Like literally, geek culture has history, and I've had people go, "Wait, that happened then?" Because some people are like, like that was 30 years ago. Like,
yeah, you don't realize how long ago things have happened.
We have a lot of viewers tuning in on these kind of things, and then they write us and they're like, "We actually really like this segment. Thank you so much."
The segment, so we enjoy hearing from everybody.
Yeah, if you want to give us some stuff on what we should talk about, go ahead and message us at fanboytv.com.
So let's kick things off this week
it's so much easier.
with our first one.
1987.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was released.
In 1987, NES, the game that is very, very difficult to beat, but if you truly want to watch something awesome and spectacular, watch the beat it blindfolded with his back turned to the screen during a speed run.
I honestly,
I don't know how. Anyways,
hate it.
No, the guy's literally blindfolded. He's fine like
but
this.
it's not that hard to move left or right because.
But remember, everyone has their.
You're just listening by sound and just some people have talents.
But it's also through speedruns. You gotta watch it. It's awesome. I assure you.
Some people have talents to play video games without watching them.
Other people have talents to trigger
I also
video
think
games.
this is probably one of the most totally iconic games out there.
Yes.
When you say video games, everyone knows Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yeah.
Everyone does. Do you think it would have been the same if they not had Mike Tyson in it? Or if they just called it Super Punch-Out?
They did later. Because of the Mike Tyson issues, they did. In fact,
because that's actually on the SNES Mini.
Right, it's on the SNES. It's on the SNES Mini. They actually just released a new one on the Wii. They released one on the Wii Switch now. I think it's coming up.
Well, given the circumstances, even if they did put a celebrity in there, I mean, games back then were so popular. Nowadays, people go back, still seeing people play the games in like at Austin Toy Museum.
Yeah.
Actually, video games weren't really that popular. The fact that Mike Tyson was even on it was a big deal. I mean, at the time.
That was like one of the first endorsements, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of the first super
before
major
EA stepped in and endorsed everything.
Right, but also at the same time, you take with how that yeah.
My name is Pocky.
My name is Pocky. With how well that game was received and how well it did, I was surprised there wasn't more pickups. In fact, it would be years later we finally get Madden to be on football.
Back then, they weren't about let's make a sequel franchise. It was individual, unique games over and over again. That's when we had imagination. Now we're selling franchises. We're not selling games. Imagination. You triggered me with your Rainbow Kin self.
Actually, that's also a lie. But we won't go there for right now.
They did Castlevania 1, 2, and 3, but they weren't worried about franchising things. They wanted to continue stories, but we had... Look at the PlayStation 1. It was all original games, and 2 was all original games, and then you started getting into the... If it's not Battlefield and it's not Madden, nobody really cares.
I have a question.
It's true.
When you take your glasses off, do you realize they're rose-colored then or beforehand?
Oh, I totally know they're rose-colored.
Okay. Because I would say, are you kidding me? I can point to you a 9... Like, literally, they were taking Super Nintendo titles or failed...
Buzzkill Pocky here.
Yeah, exactly. Because there wasn't originality. They were ripping themselves off even back then.
All right.
Anyways, going further.
Next up on our Geek History Book list. Now, this is going back there for you guys. The first Blockbuster video store opened this week.
Was back in Dallas, Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The first big chain video rental place opened up. And do you guys remember going to the video store and finding the movies or the video games?
Yes.
Or the beaded curtain for the adult stuff your parents went to while you were looking at cartoon movies?
So
it happened many times, Father.
so my favorite is, see, me and Jeffrey came from areas that were a little smaller towns. Jeffrey and I.
I'm from Las Vegas. That's a big town.
I was talking about.
That's a big city, honey.
I know. I was trying to say that.
He's calling you Podunk.
No, I was just.
I remember going to Blockbuster when I was a kid. It was actually one of my favorite stores to go to because the one I went to, it was near the Smiths. I think it's off, Rainbow or something like that. Anyways, but we would go, and my brother and I loved going there because every section of the store was themed. Like, here's fantasy, you go into a castle. Horror, I felt like you go into a high house, and then when you walked in, it creaks and everything, you felt like it. And then they had this middle in the glass thing, and always like going up to it. And my brother would always get me, and he would press the button, and Tales from the Crypt guy comes.
Crypt Keeper.
Scared the crap out of me every time.
My thing was,
and Sci-Fi had a bunch of robots. It was awesome.
See, my thing was,
you went to a spaceship
actually. Small towns, because I lived in Leander. We didn't have Blockbusters because Blockbuster would come to a small town like this.
You had little mom and pop ones.
We had little mom and pop ones. The mom and pop ones were always the ones that would really take the bets on movies. Like that's where you would get the traumas and the cannons and the. So there's a reason why I watch a lot of bad movies because they were.
It's not just because you have bad taste.
No, it's because that's all I was fed. I watched USA Up all night. Okay.
Do you remember the big giant laser disc?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
We remember all that fun stuff from.
Now, do you realize the ultimate irony about that what killed Blockbusters was Netflix?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was because of Netflix, because of Blockbusters, Netflix was born.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I thought it was fun to see that video chains started becoming more mainstream, and then they brought in video games in there, and then there was Hollywood Video and all these other ones. But there was always your local video stores as well. And I always found those to be, you're right, Pocky, the most interesting because they took the chances on the weird movies that Blockbusters was like, no one's got to rent that.
Yeah.
It was fun because in high school, I had a friend that worked at Blockbuster. He loved to tell me about all the movies people would steal.
Yeah.
So, like, did you know Austin Powers was the most stolen movie from a Blockbuster
Really?
ever? It still holds the record as the most stolen, checked out movie ever.
Yeah. I know.
A lot of horror movies. My friend used to work. Was a manager at Blockbuster, and they would always say that horror movies and the Never Ending Story series was always stolen the most.
Because they burned the Never Ending Story. It's a crappy movie.
No, it was the kids' movie, and trust me.
No, it's a crappy movie.
And going further,
all right.
Why are you exercising your screw? Why? I like Garbage Pail Kids, but I like the Never Ending Story.
I am so triggered right now.
My triggery is triggering my trigger right now.
You're triggering
I don't even
my
know.
childhood.
Like, they're all glaring at me from my. Like, I watched the movie recently. I was like, how the hell did this movie ever possibly have a point?
If you guys remember what Blockbuster is, that's awesome. If you don't know what Blockbuster is,
then
please check it out online and do your own research.
You're missing the days of, I wanted this movie, but it's checked out for 3 weeks. You gotta wait. That's what you're missing. Trust me.
Yeah.
What you're missing is I want to watch this movie. It's checked out. Wait, what's this movie? It seems almost like it. I should watch this. When people would actually experiment. People would experiment with videos because they had nothing else to watch. Because, Terminator 2 was checked out. You really wanted to watch that, but now you have, like, this canon movie that you really want to watch.
Robot Uprising 3.
Yes.
What I really liked is I always cracked up. We would go to the Blockbuster and, you grab your movie. Okay, hey, this is the movie you want. Cool. And then the person opens the check, whatever. Well, they didn't check hard enough. You go home and it's like some kind of, like, Disney movie when you're supposed to be watching Terminator or, like, a horror movie. You're like, what is this crap?
All right, so
or when the VHSs got recorded over with someone else's stuff.
Oh, those were always fun. Anyways, last up on our Geek History book today. This week, the world's first video game was released. It's called, what is it called?
Was it Tennis for Two?
Tennis for Two, yes. Yep. What started the ushering in, basically.
Thank you, William Higginbotham.
This was, like, when you think about this.
Rotoscope.
Yeah,
so
literally.
long ago.
Yes.
Very long ago.
So 1958, right?
And like,
no, 19.
Today's generation has no idea what we're talking about.
I described what time I wrote an article, and I wrote what time the progression of video games is so quick that it would have been as if Humphrey Bogart starred in Casablanca, then 6 weeks later starred in Schindler's List. Like, that's how fast video games move.
It is amazing. You put it exactly right. Video games, the development cycles have been so fast.
Yes.
But I think we're reaching that wall where we can't really go much further. So that's why we're doing the VR and augmented reality games. And even that, things already look really freaking good.
Right. Oh, yeah. It's I think the phrase is eye orgasmic or something.
Yeah. But to think where we came from with that weird, ugly Atari box and everything was blocky like E.T. I played that game. God. Or Superman where you're a rectangle going from, like, phone booth to phone booth.
Yeah, or like one of the first ones, the Odyssey. Like, if you want to play a game, you got a piece of plastic.
Yeah, put it on
and
TV.
You stuck it on the screen, and it's like, now go through the maze, and you had to control it just right. Or of course you just go straight across because there's nothing to stop you, or whatever. You never actually.
Caleb at the Austin Toy Museum has a bunch of those, and they work. And he had me play one. It was a haunted house when I put the thing up. I was like, what am I doing? Things like pop in the window. Oh my god, what am I doing? I had no idea because you're just basically controlling a ball and like it's programmed to do different things, but you put something on the TV screen and it just sits there and you play over it.
Well, the Atari also did the same thing with
Can
its
I come
control.
over after this?
You know what I've told you, Caleb, let you play.
Caleb,
we're coming by.
Also, the Atari had where you could put slips into the original Atari controller with the one with the buttons. So you could do because there was a Star Trek one, and you could put the slit in, and it will tell you what the buttons did for correlate, like shields up or warp drive. Or
He's all, hey, you got a Star Trek Atari game? Look at all crap, but I'm
all of that because someone got a rotoscope and decided to play around with it and turn it into a tennis game. We thank you, NASA scientists, for your great contribution to all of our time.
All right, so that's it for this week's Geek History Book. Make sure you tune in with us every week as we tell you fun things that happen throughout the week. But up next is this week's Geek versus Geek, where Jeffrey gets to be the judge, and we'll see if I win again or if I lose, because I'm going against Pocky.
I will tell you right now, it's going to be a little hard, because it's Alien versus Predator. And I am on the fence with this one. Stay tuned.